Our opponents brought up a couple different points throughout their first negative constructive, saying that GM foods are already safe enough and that crops already naturally produce allergens on their own. It's we know that right away that the only impacts we know of genetically engineered food or modified food are short-term facts. Later he says that genetically modifying has been around for thousands of years with the making of beer and wine. All this type of reactions are done naturally, not in a lab, not brought from other plants or other animals that shouldn't happen naturally within nature. Dr. Ron Epstein, a professor at San Francisco State, 96, said proven health hazards from genetically modified foods already mentioned foods include production of carcinogens, a rise level of toxins, resistance to antibodies, and allergic reactions. This is due because sometimes oils from different kinds of nuts will be used to replace things while engineering other foods, and these are not labeled, so in turn people are eating things that they don't know that they could be allergic to, like different kinds of nut oils. Also by Ron Epstein, San Francisco State, there's no long-term studies on genetically modified foods for humans, and the only way to get through this is that if we label genetically modified or engineered food, people will then be able to further down the road of being asked, they can with confidence say that yes, they are sure that they have been eating these kinds of genetically modified foods. He also says that genetically modified, creating genetically modified food is helping deforestation. Although it might be saving areas of lands and crops because it can be grown in a lab, I'm sure that there are other more pressing matters that have to do with deforestation that are not the growing of food. He says that the FDA says that standards of genetically modified foods do not have to be labeled if they are the same as the regular food. It is said that by Epstein's willingness, why genetically engineered food should not be labeled. San Francisco State 96. Genetic engineering refers to the artificial modification of genetic code in cells. By doing so, the fundamental physical nature of the organism is changed, sometimes in ways that that would never occur in nature. Some of the effects are known, but most are not. The effects of genetic engineering we often know are short-term, specific, and physical. The effects we usually do not know are long-term, general, and also mental. And he also says that it will create that he used the Frankenfood example from London, saying that it will scare people away from genetically modified food. I feel I have the exact opposite. If the genetically modified food has companies have nothing to hide, they shouldn't have anything to worry about. Flanagan, PhD, Science-Based Precautionary Approach to Labeling of Genetically Modified Food, 2007, says the lack of unwillingness of the industry to accept labeling is a sign of lack of confidence in their own products and their own huge investment in genetic engineering. And also in the same article, with genetically modified food producers labeling and coming up front with it, it will instill a trust in the companies from consumers, deterring some of the fear consumers might have with genetically modified foods. Said that a lot of people are not aware of genetically modified foods. in turn, this is true because they're simply not labeled. But it does not mean that America currently does not want to know that they are what they are eating is genetically modified. And the Hallman and Ling Genetic Engineering Network, a company that works with the overseeing of genetically modified engineering foods, they've done a survey where 94% of Americans want labeling. Same article, consumers have a right to know what is in their food, especially concerning products for which health and environment concerns have been raised. So just because they don't know what they're eating doesn't mean they don't want to know. It doesn't mean they shouldn't have the ability to know. Also, with food companies such as Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, which are specific to organic and non-genetically modified foods, the industry recently has been growing, and then if people don't know or don't care, it would seem as if they wouldn't help these type of companies boom as they have. Sarah Kinmore, food industry writer, August 2009, Whole Foods Market Inc. says that its fiscal third quarter profit grew nearly 3%, beating expectations as sales improved at a natural and organic grocery store chain. Also, Business Weekly 2001, an article on Trader Joe's, between the years of 1990 and 2001, the chain Trader Joe's quintupled the store number and increased its sale by 10 times. So in all, the genetically modified companies have no reason not to be labeling their food. People want to know what's in their food, and if they have nothing to hide and are comfortable with what they have and are producing, it should be done without question.